know the morning steam, it's time to break one for cover. That's gonna cover, that's gonna cash. Then we make the 100-yard dash to the window. I don't know what you thought. It's Ramon Scott, running so hot. Sports make money and we make money with sports money every single day. NFL, NHL, NCAA. Stay away from the juice, we might play a parlay. It's the morning steam. What? Ramon Scott, sports money. What? Wake your ass up and let's get to the money. Get to the money. You know how we do it.
All right, and a pleasant good morning to you from the new Sports Money Network. We're back. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Morning Steam here for Friday, July 17th. We're ready to go with another big sports betting weekend. We're back on here after an extended little vacay there for the All-Star break, but man, we're going to have a great weekend. We got some great sports betting today. We got baseball. We've got WNBA, we've got some summer league, but right now we've got to start it off right here with breaking news. All right, we've got breaking news right now from the world of golf. Right now, I mean, we are just breaking this here. We're going to see what happens just moments away here. Lucas Herbert, a 30-year-old from Australia, is trying to become the lowest all-time round for a major. Right now, he's trying to chip in here for a birdie here on the 18th hole at Royal Birkdale. Now, it is going to be a tough chip. He's in the apron. He's a little bit off the apron here. I think he's actually got some run up in this one. It's not going to be easy. He certainly can tie the record here right now. He has 57 here currently through 17 holes. He leads, by the way, leads the Open Championship at 9 under par, and he's waiting for his playing partner here to go, Bud Cauley, who's going to hit before him. If Herbert could make this shot, it's going to be about 50 feet or so. Not an impossible shot the way he's playing today, although in the last two holes, he's actually flubbed them up pretty good. I did save par on the last hole there after a rugged shot that put him into the beyond the gallery, but he chipped up beautifully and ended up saving par, and now he's going to have another chance here. This will be a tough shot. As long as he gets it close, he's going to, definitely shoot the lowest round here. Of course, like I said, he's on 57. A par will give him 61. 62 is the all-time record for a major as far as a low round is concerned. Been done several times. Herbert is a one-time winner on the PGA Tour, a three-time winner on the European Tour, and he's been in Live Golf here. He was a Live Golf guy here for the last couple of years. So got an exciting moment here right now. If you're not tuned in currently, he's getting ready here. He's looking over the shot here currently. Still, unless he really blows it here, he's going to set an all-time record for the lowest score, but he has a chance right here to make a 60 with this shot. He's lining it up here currently. And he's probably just on the apron here a little bit. This is not a terrible shot at all, but shoot the lowest round ever here right now. And he's sent it on its way. It's moving nicely to the pin. It's going to be short, I do believe, by about 2 or 3 feet here. So he has left himself short. He's going to be going for a par here right now. On this final hole, and they're going to give him a moment, I think, here. I think they're even going to put out in front of him, and maybe here. No, he might take his turn. He is out. I do believe. No, one other player is out on this group. So just in here right now, Lucas Herbert about to set a record here with a low round in a major championship here currently. He's at 9 under, leading the tournament. Jackson Suber, who had a strong day yesterday and a good round today, currently at in second place at 6 under par, just 1 under for the day. His round is over. We've got other golfers on the course. Sam Burns has really turned it on today with a 6 under par. He's at 3 under, but there are other golfers here at 5 under, a group including Sunjay M. Cauley is at 4 under. This group's been pretty good here today so far. You still have many golfers yet to tee off here, or several, I should say, good groups of golfers here still to tee off. Most of them are on the course. It's probably about 20, 25 golfers still to go here today, maybe a little more than that here at the Open Championship. So breaking news here for sure. We're going to just stick with it here and see how Herbert finishes his round right now. Big moment here for the 30-year-old, round of a lifetime for sure. He has not been a dominant player in his career. Like I said, he has won before on the PGA Tour. Wasn't a major back then or anything. In fact, his only PGA Tour win came at the Bermuda Championship, and did that in 2021. He's also won 3 times, as I said, on the European Tour. Irish Open is probably his biggest victory there. And getting ready to shoot here right now. Just want to finish this off here currently. Just needs this putt here probably about 3 feet, maybe 2.5 feet. This will be the lowest round ever in the history of golf for a major championship at 61. Gets ready, sends it on its way, and he's pushed it to the left. And he's going to have to settle for a 62 as he bogeys the final hole. I was getting ready to fire it up and get on here. And these last 2 holes, he looked like everyday golfer out there, and he missed this putt poorly to the left. Still an incredible round today to tie the all-time record. That one's got to be the most bitter right there. A total makeable putt after he had a terrible drive, but gets a great ovation from the crowd here and finishes with a 62 to tie the lowest score ever in the history of golf in a major championship here. We'll say, interestingly enough, the other 62s that have been in major championships, not saying the course is easy here or harder or easier in those other events that happened, but both of 2 other 62s were done twice in the same tournament. U.S. Open, 2 players shot a 62 on the same course at the U.S. Open when they played in Los Angeles, and there's another case where 2 golfers in the same tournament shot 62 as well. So I'm just saying those courses, not that they're not going pretty low here for the Open Championship. You have Herbert here at 8 under, but Suber 6 under, but nothing awful here. I mean, at least from there it might be a little bit normal. They might be going a little bit low here. You got a couple of golfers at 5 under on the course here currently, and we see Bud Cauley just hit in here to finish his round at a 68 as well, as he's tied for 5th. So unless another golfer shoots 62, it'll make his a little bit, I don't know, maybe more special. Maybe it shows that the course isn't totally easy here at Royal Birkdale right now as he walks off. But what a disappointment. I want to say it's a disappointment. He's got to be happy with himself shooting that 62, but he should have had a 61 actually right there. Just missed that putt. That was too bad. When you see it, boy, you can see his reaction there, because that was a total makeable putt. We're going to get ready to start the show here right now and get on with it. But they keep showing that. It was a bad putt. It was a bad putt. But still, 62 here at the Open Championship to lead the tournament right now. And like I said, got plenty of golf here left today. They're probably not even halfway through the round so far, but everyone's pretty fired up for Lucas Herbert. Came over from the LIV Tour here right now, and he's going to be one of those golfers trying to find their way back. I think he's going to be on the European tour here, but Lucas Herbert. So here's the list. Okay, at Valhalla in 2024, Shane Lowry and Xander Schauffele shot 62, and then Schauffele and Fowler both shot 62 on the same course in the 2023 U.S. Open, and Brandon Grace in 2017 right here at Royal Birkdale. Now that's interesting too, as you could argue there that, you know, we're on the same courses there in the 62. So maybe not the hardest of Open Championship or major championship courses, but that's the breaking news here just moments ago. Good to see everyone in the chat. Hello. And we're going to get ready to preview 15 baseball games today, including a doubleheader, a day-night doubleheader that will get underway as we get underway with the second half. Last night, we did see the New York Mets over the Philadelphia Phillies there, 4-1. Hopefully you caught my Cover the Spread video where I had the Mets and the under in that comeback from the break game, that is. And we swept that parlay there for the action to get the second half underway. Not much else was going on yesterday. Some summer league. WNBA did have one game. Portland blew out Washington, and there was one game that was postponed. The Liberty and the Wings are going to make that up on Monday. The Wings had the should think it'd be the Wings, but the Liberty had trouble with their plane. And they couldn't make it to Dallas, so they just scrapped it and said we'll play on Monday. And got also returned to action for Major League Soccer last night. My Tijuana Xolos won. There wasn't much going on in the world of sports yesterday, but we'll get a full slate of baseball today. We've got 4 games in the WNBA, and maybe we'll throw in a little summer league action here as well for Friday. Hey, hopefully you caught yesterday's coverage on our members only stream with Ixnizzle. Man, that was fun to have Golf Companion stream there in the middle of the night while I was hanging out watching the golf, and a great job by Sniz. And we've also got great programming coming up this weekend, including UFC action here on Saturday from Oklahoma City with a great main event this week. Middleweights, Dricus du Plessis, Kamaru Usman. We've got top contenders in the middleweight division as they try to work their way up and maybe get a chance here to meet Sean Strickland. 2 top contenders for sure. Of course, Usman ranked number 10 in the welterweight division, but, you know, certainly has been a little bit on the decline. He's usually a top 5 contender here. Maybe he's getting a little long in the tooth, but hey, you can catch the previews for this week's UFC card from me here with UFC VB MMA picks with the action here from Oklahoma City on Saturday. We previewed that middleweight bout here with number 2 ranked middleweight contender, former middleweight champ Dricus du Plessis up against Kamaru Usman, the Nigerian nightmare from Boca Raton, Florida here, a longtime welterweight champ, of course, and snapped his 3-fight skid last time out against Buckley to set up this bout. Of course, like I said, Drew Plessis came in off a unanimous decision loss to Chimaev in a title defense last August. Of course, both guys have been up against Chimaev, but both will have their sights set on the middleweight title with Strickland. Both have wins over Sean Strickland there too in their careers, so they're trying to get back. Also, we previewed a couple other fights, featherweight bout between Bashi and Delgado, and we also previewed light heavyweights, Rodriguez Jr. and Felipe Franco. So check out VB MMA picks and get ready. We had Narco Cop this week, a top MMA handicapper. And join us over on BB MMA Picks. It's underneath the live tab. You have time to check it out before tomorrow's card. And make sure you join us tomorrow on the new Sports Money Network. The guys will be here for the UFC Companion stream on Saturday. They'll get through a whole card here this week from Oklahoma City. Pretty good card here. I don't want to say it's a little bit of a letdown after last week, but still we got some great fights this week. Join the guys for the Companion stream coverage here on Saturday on the Sports Money Network. Now, the only way you're going to get my picks here now is to go to winnable.com/Ramon and subscribe over there. My picks are behind the paywall this week, so check them out over at winnable.com. I'll have my UFC package out here, and I'll have other sports covered as well at winnable.com/Ramon. Use the promo code STEAM to save 20% off those premium pick packages, and I'll have you covered here today as well with a Major League Baseball card, some WNBA and other winners. I've already come through here, or sent out anyway, my tennis package here today. I think the matches are kind of still to come over there, but we did win a couple of plays yesterday in the Summer League. We had the Rockets and Brooklyn to go over yesterday, and a free winner in there as well. So check it out over at winnable.com/Ramon. Get more picks from me for just 38 cents a day when you subscribe for 1 month at $19.95 and use the promo code STEAM. I'll throw in an extra week. You get 5 weeks. So look, coming back to the second half, I'm totally prepared, totally ready here. So if you're having any trouble or just want a little advice or want to support me here on the show, subscribe over at winnable.com to my premium picks over there, and you'll get picks from me every day in a multitude of sports, and keeps you rolling here anytime you wanted to double check your picks or just have some extra picks in your pocket. And I also pick some different sports as well. I like to look at some overseas action overnight, sports such as tennis and also Australian sports as well. So check me out over at winnable.com. All right, let me say hello to the folks in the chat here right now and get ready to get the show started here on the Sports Money Network as we get ready to roll in the second half here. I want to say hello to Mohammed Den Ahmed. Mohammed Den Ahmed. Good to see Mohammed. He likes Spain there in the match. And it's going to be great action there on Sunday. Of course, we do have a consolation match here on Saturday. Hello to Nick Handy in the chat. Trevor Davis, thank you for being here today. Thanks for your support. Jimmy Lambo, he's ready to go. And Nuke is here, everybody. He's ready to go. We might have a CFL pick tonight with our one game here tonight with the Lions taking on the Elks. The Elks are favored by just 2. I think it shows kind of what's going on right now, because obviously the Elks have a much better record right now than the Lions, but dealing with some things here, and we'll see if Newt can hook us up tonight. And there's Ron. Good morning to Ron as well. And who else we got to join us today? We'll get ready to roll here. Razor, thank you for being here. And it's the first day at Del Mar. I better see if I want to, once you commit to something, you might have to follow through. But I said, I'll give you the a video for the feature race every day at Del Mar. So I'll see if I can do that here. Maybe I'll have to do it after the show every day. I'd like to do it before, but okay. Good morning to Blake in there. Nuke says these golf courses in the UK are, I think he's saying they're pretty tough. Your links golf here. Remember when they asked, Bryson DeChambeau, how you gonna do? This was I think couple of years. How are you gonna do on the links score? I'm gonna attack the links score. I don't think you're supposed to attack the links score. You're supposed to let it come to you. So they're interviewing Lucas Herbert here right now, and for all the appreciation, you got to have a little disappointment for him. He should have shot a 61 there. The only shot they're showing is him pulling that putt to the left. So still pretty awesome there. We wish I was like, man, I'm going to go on there and do a breaking news. The guy's going to have a world record there. He flubbed the shots up on the 17th hole, actually put the tee shot behind the gallery, and then had to made a great recovery there and actually had a chance for another par. But all right, let's get ready to go. I think here right now, I don't know if there's much of the news to talk about here this week. I don't really have a lot of recap for you, but we'll say this All-Star game on Tuesday. Now, my guy Ben Rice did not come through there, but it was a great home run derby. It was the lowest rated home run derby in terms of viewership since 2003. 23 years, as only 5.3 million people watched the home run derby on Netflix, despite what I thought was a pretty strong field. You had Schwarber, you had Harper there, but the fans just couldn't find it on their sets here. You got to wonder about, Netflix has said already Netflix says that they actually been hinting at a newer type of model for their programming. Of course, we know them as the place to go get some great shows and some great movies, but they don't have live programming necessarily. They've had some live sports, they've had live events, but they're thinking of going to like a live channel, right, where you have 24-hour programming. Sure, you might have the references, go back and watch other shows like a Peacock or a Paramount Plus, but they don't have any live, and they want to go 24 hours and just be another channel, and they might have to do that to try to get the viewership they need. It's obviously a huge company that's had tremendous success with their model, but might not be keeping up with what people are looking for in terms of live coverage. It might be hurting some of their, even their sports programming here. We've seen some big events on there, but this one was a dud in what turned out to be a spectacular home run derby on Monday. Won by Jordan Walker. It was incredible there as well. And then the All-Star game, however, had the highest viewership in 8 years. 2018, they had 8.7 million viewers. So just goes to show you there, maybe, I don't think the home run derby is a tired idea at all. I think people still like it. In fact, I actually thought that the fact that that they took the 20 swings in a row, and I think one thing that they were doing that maybe I didn't like, or I don't know, people liked, was, with the timer, they'd pitch and then the ball would be in the air, and before the other one was even down, they could pitch again. And you're watching one home run while the guy's swinging at another. It seemed like fast-paced excitement, but you really couldn't keep track or enjoy one home run after another. And I don't think it's that boring that you need to, hey, let's let those balls hit let's let them go there one by one. And I think it did work out. I thought the event was really good this time, and I like the full field swinging in the first round instead of the heads up right away. You don't want to see someone get screwed out of it because some other guy gets hot. So I think the format was fine. I think the home run derby is still to stay. But maybe just a little bit of a tick or revision could do it here. And the magenta ball, that's a bad idea. Why don't you do a yellow neon ball that people can see? No wonder no one could hit the magenta ball. You can't pick up the seams on the magenta ball, so use the neon ball. There, Major League Baseball and the NHL both announced their schedules in the last day or two, and both leagues will start earlier than they ever have before, and that's going to continue to be the norm here a little bit. We'll see. I mean, right now it looks like, unless a miracle happens, I mean, I would think the baseball season is going to be canceled next year. This has got to be one of the worst situations as far as the negotiations right now. I mean, it doesn't seem like there's much of a chance. I'm sure they'll get it right, but right now it is a big problem here with the collective bargaining and the contract talks with Major League Baseball. So, all right, let's get ready to start the show here right now. And I want to get ready and have not everyone has Netflix, right? I mean, that's the thing, right, Blake? I mean, not all of us can just afford the Netflix. So, and Nuke, right? I mean, Nuke, it just seemed like we got him out there, and I was watching the round, and everybody was kind of watching it here for the last 4 or 5 holes, thinking, man, they're going to be really, really good. He might really set a record. Jim says he thinks the quality of play, I think he's saying in baseball, sucks. It feels like, I'm not sure. I think baseball's having a resurgence. Oh, maybe he means maybe the All-Star game itself. I'm not sure. I mean, look, there's another problem in the All-Star game is, and I talked about it here with my pick. I had the under in the All-Star game. I had the American League in the under. I nailed it, but if you look back, the All-Star game's gone under in I think it's 21 of the last 24 years right now, and that's not great for fans and not great for viewing. I don't know how you fix it. you could be total, baseball here and do something stupid. They could put a guy at second base in every inning at the All-Star game. That'll help scoring. Otherwise, it's not, because you got guys coming in there one inning. Even if they're a mediocre pitcher, you're still going to be able to mow guys down. When you go in there for one inning, Christopher Sanchez, tough break, man. You're going up against a tough lineup, a top lineup like that, and you're in front of your home crowd. You get a little jacked up. If anything, that's the strange thing about baseball, right? It's all kind of mental sometimes. He didn't have a great outing, and basically were the only 3 runs of the game there, pretty much. 4-0 was the final, but I think what's happening here is you get the pitchers are so dominant. You come in for one inning, you're trucking that ball up there 100 miles an hour. It's just going to be hard for the offense to come through, and that's the way it's going to continue to be, unless I don't know if there's any way necessarily to fix that in the All-Star game. You don't want to do anything crazy, but like I said, you could put a guy at second base every inning. That would help you get more runs in the All-Star game. It's just an All-Star game. You've already done stupid things in your All-Star game in the past here. I mean, a home run hit off there. Remember, for 13 years, they decided the home field advantage. I'm not saying go back to that, but maybe it needs a little bit of fine tuning. So Jim does think that the quality of play is not very good. I think he says baseball in general. It feels like we're having an incredible season with great play this year, but maybe he means the All-Star game, and there's not a lot going on. The All-Star game is almost a bore, actually. All right, let's get ready to go here with our coverage here today. There's tennis action going on as well. Tournaments all over Europe here today. And hey, it's a great way to start off here right now. Let's go to the first game of the doubleheader. It's between Boston and Toronto. I will say this. Let me turn on the sound here of the steam machine over here, because we just had some steam, and I will just mention it here. We're going to do both games here. Right now, we're going to do one game, then we'll do the Dodger Yankees, then we'll come in with game 2 of the doubleheader between Boston and Toronto. But I will say right now that the second game of the doubleheader is taking some steam right now. Final to the over. Currently, it was 8.5. Now, we don't even know who's pitching, or I don't know who's pitching. I don't even know if this game's right here. Now, it does feel like Jackson Bennett, the closer we get here to this start, and we're about 4 hours away from the first game, that maybe these two teams will go with these starters. But on this doubleheader today, I just had to think that maybe you'd have your these two pitchers go in the nightcap, and then maybe you'd have more of the untested pitchers here go in the first game. So I wasn't even sure that they would go with these two pitchers in this particular game, or if maybe the Red Sox were more interested in matching up a little bit differently. But we'll just go with what we know right now and see if it doesn't stay with this matchup anyway between the Rays here and the Red Sox here to get technically fully underway here in the second half. For Griffin Jacks, a 3.71 ERA and a 5-6 record. Jacks has a 1.23 WHIP. Jacks has been pretty solid here. Just another typical Rays story here. Like I said, it is possible these starters could shift to the later game. It feels like for the Red Sox, the pitching might be a little bit shakier than Tampa coming in here. But hey, it's the first game back, and no one's going to really be totally up against it, especially here, in the bullpen. Everyone's got fully rested, right? So Jax has been really good, though, since getting into the rotation here in May, with his numbers here last 3 games at 185 batting average against. He's going up against the Red Sox here, who couldn't have ended the first half right now. 9-game winning streak coming into this one. Have they found the answers? Have they found the solution here to get back in the race? All of a sudden, they're a 500 team with all the momentum in the world currently. Now, the lineup hasn't been great, for the most part this season, but they've been patient. They've been picking it up here of late, and they do still, have a tendency to strike out. But man, the For the last 2 weeks of the season, they couldn't be any hotter here. For Jake Bennett, 2.64 ERA, a 4-3 record, 0.94 WHIP. Between the Red Sox young pitchers here, they've looked really good, obviously, here this season so far. Man, maybe that's part of it. The pitchers are a little bit young, but they're having some great success here. Couldn't be awesome here between Peyton Toll. We're about to talk about another guy who has looked good so far, even though not as much work as Bennett or Toll, but Rivera is starting here in the doubleheader, game number 2. So Red Sox with young pitching, it's tough to go all the way when you got young pitching, but as good as this Rays lineup is, they've had a little bit more trouble than lefties, than righties. So, but this will be the third time that the Rays have seen Bennett. So that does raise a suspicion or my eyebrow a little bit here to face a rookie the third time. Coming into this one, they've actually had 4 earned runs against him in both of the prior games. So as much as good as Bennett has been, the Rays have been one of the teams that's kind of solved him here a little bit. 2 other times already 4-run performances. So now maybe the Red Sox do have the bullpen advantage, but both teams obviously have some pretty solid closers between them here. And I just think the Rays are continuing. I don't want to say that the break brought a little bit of a pause to the Red Sox. Man, they've been so hot here right now, but I don't necessarily want to get in their way of this streak, but I am going to take the Tampa Bay Rays to win this game today against the Red Sox here at a little bit of plus money. But obviously the Red Sox coming in scorching right now with this awesome win streak that's continuing on 9 games in a row. Still, the Rays have won 6 of the last 7 meetings against Boston. They've won 13 of their last 18 overall. Now, Tampa's gone under in 11 of their last 15 on the road. 4 of the last 5 meetings between these two teams have gone under. I think we're going to get a good tight game here, possibly low scoring. I'm going to take the Rays here in this one. Let's go to the chat and see if anybody's got some plays here. Hello to Cash Kane in the chat. And Jimmy Deweiger's going with the Red Sox here in game 1, and so is 9 Legacy. So Red Sox for the chat, and Rays here for Ramon in game 1. All right, let's go. We're going to split up the doubleheader so we don't have any confusion, but also we're just going in chronological order too, so not really a lot of science to it. Let's go to the next game in the actual rotation here, because why not? Dodgers, Yankees, man, remember that incredible World Series, and always an incredible time when the Dodgers beat up with the Yankees here, especially at the stadium. The Yankees have won 4 in a row coming into the second half. The Dodgers, they mailed it in a little bit early there. I don't think they're going downhill just because they got swept there at home by Arizona. Hopefully they are, but I doubt it. Roki Sasaki, 5.33 ERA, a 3-5 record. Man, Sasaki should be way better. What is his problem? Seems like he's got the stuff, but just can't seem to get guys out in a row is what happens. Once it starts falling apart for Sasaki, then the runs seem to come in. He can't stop the rallies. He, mows them down, and then once he gets a little flustered, that's when the problems start, when he gets some guys on base. Now, for Garrett Cole, he's not having a Garrett Cole type season. 4.04 ERA, 3-4 record, but there are moments where he certainly looks like Garrett Cole. In fact, if anything, he's kind of tailed off here the last few weeks after a pretty solid start. He's still great out there. You figure any time he's going to have a solid outing here. Man, the Yankees are an underdog here in this game at home. I know the Dodgers are good, but so are the Yankees. Yeah, the Dodgers are probably a good 7, 8, 9 games ahead of them in the standings, right? Yankees 54-42, Dodgers 61-38. So, yeah, what's that? 5.5 game difference between the two teams. But let's see what you think here in this one, because Yankees are at home here. They've obviously found their offense again, finally. once way back when Judge went out, the offense still cooked there for a week or two. Then they, definitely had some problems here for several weeks, if not a month now. But now all of a sudden they're starting to get it back together again. They're clearly out of their slump. It feels like had multiple runs in 5 of their last 6 outings against starting right-handers, and averaged 3 runs per game against starting pitching in their last 6 against righties. Never a question that Roki, it can be good at times, but facing this Yankees lineup right now in a run-friendly park, when you're not getting anybody out, doesn't seem like an easy task at all. For Sasaki, been really off here of late, and for whatever reason, that fastball that really carries him, 1 minute he's blowing it by a guy, and the next minute he's getting smacked around a little bit. Cole's been a little bit underwhelming with his 4.04 ERA and giving up the fly balls here for sure. Went through a stretch recently where he gave up 7 home runs in the month of June, but only 1 so far in his 2 July starts here. He has given up 5 or more hits in his last 4 starts here in this one. So, look, maybe these pitchers aren't all that, but maybe they could have a better outing today. We know the Dodgers are the best lineup in baseball as far as against right-handers, probably period, right? First in slugging percentage against right-handers, and top 2 in other categories as well. Against right-handers, they've averaged 2.5 runs per game against starting pitching over their last 10 outings against right-handed starters. So, look, the Dodgers are more reliable offensively, but Roki's inconsistencies have to be of concern. So let's see what you think in this one. You got to think that Freddie could have a big game here against Cole. You got to think that Ben Rice, my guy, let me down on the home run derby. Wasn't even close. I thought I had a sleeper in there. So let's see here. Yankees at $1.05 or so, an underdog here in this one. Let's see what the chat. Oh, the chat's backing down. We've got over 2 dozen of you here right now. No one's willing to take a stand on this game. Whew, I understand. Could be tough here today. I've got this one to go over between the Dodgers and the Yankees. If the chat won't pick it, I will. Give me the over in this one. All right, next up, let's go to Game 2 now of the doubleheader. Like I said, we'll see if these are the matchups. It does feel like right now, especially with that line getting a little bit solidified for the nightcap, or Game 2 anyway, between Tampa Bay and Boston here. It will be for Tampa Bay, Mason Englert, 3.81 ERA, 1.37 whip for Englert. He's not an opener in my mind by any stretch. We've already seen Englert here 3 extended appearances in the majors, coming off his best game in a spot start against the Astros, where he went 5 2/3 innings, striking out 9 with 2 earned runs and threw 101 pitches. So this is no bullpen game here. I think Englert is I'm not saying he's here to stay, but he has a 3.81 ERA, 0-2 record, as I said. But for Rivera, looked really good in that first start, and 3.2 innings, 1 hit, 64 pitches against the Mets. He piggybacked with Brian Bello, remember? Bello was delayed in his call-up anyway. They sent him back to the minors, but then they brought him up here, and I think he's active here. Now, the problem here is I think one of the Bello might not even be active, but I think he will be activated if he's not. I didn't really go back and check, but Rivera definitely the projected starter here, the left-hander going in this one, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do the piggyback here with these 2 pitchers here. Once Englert goes, and maybe Bello comes in the 4th or 5th inning, depending on how strong Englert is here, but there's some uncertainty for sure in this one with the game one, especially if these are the starters. Monitor game one closely here before you do anything, but we see a line. There's definitely a line out in this game currently, and it is Boston here, a favorite, about 120, 9 under 15 in this one right now, as far as I'm seeing it. So, Englert, talking about Bello and whether his active Englert, actually, I don't even think the reason why you don't see his name up there, he is not even he was optioned back to AAA before the break, so I would assume he'll be recalled here to start this game. He's hittable, but his splits are worse versus righties. That is good for the Red Sox offense here in this one. But, he's been solid for the most part. Let's see how you guys have it here. Anything in the chat with this game number 2? Blake did take the Yankees in that other game before I moved on, and 9 Legacy took Yankees, Moneyline, and Tampa Bay. Must be this game, I'm thinking, there for 9 Legacy. So, all right. Hey, I'm on the under in the first 5 in game 2 with these 2 pitchers. Like I said, Englert has been very solid, throwing 100 pitches out there right now, and Rivera has looked very, very good as well. Give me the under, especially at 9 here. I don't think the doubleheader is now the reason why Englert here, it is possible that Englert, you get to have one extra pitcher when you play a doubleheader. You get to bring one guy up. I would imagine Englert might be that guy. He might pitch this game despite his good success. The Rays have a good rotation. They just needed him once. They may need him twice, and he may go back to the minors after this unless he throws a no-hitter or something. Or maybe if he, does tear it up again, maybe he will hang around. But I believe this is might be a one-shot deal. He might be that one guy that get called up. Cam Young just had a birdie here to move to 5 under at the Open Championship. All right, we'll move on from that one. A little bit of noise with the doubleheader, but we'll see what happens to get the second half underway with those 2 teams. All right. Let's get to the grind here right now and take a look at this one with the Pirates and the Guardians. Hey, don't look now. This is a pretty good game, right? You have both teams coming into the second half a little bit warm. Pirates have won 3 in a row. They had a great series there to wrap up the first half by sweeping the Brewers on the road or at home. And if anything, that got them fired up a little bit as they moved to 3 games over 500. The pitching's been pretty good for Pittsburgh here as well. They really are playing well this season. You got to give the Pirates a lot of credit for, I'm not saying hanging on. I mean, this is a team with, modest expectations, but now they've kind of raised those expectations with this solid offense here. They definitely have a better offense than Cleveland, but Cleveland's got Gavin Williams here, 3.81 ERA, a 10-4 record for Williams. Jones's numbers aren't great on the surface, 4.37 and a 1-1 record. He's only been back a handful of games, well, maybe a few more than a handful now, but he's kind of looking like old Jared Jones. Remember, before Jones went on the shelf for some surgery, he was a guy that was looking like a real promising pitcher for Pittsburgh, but really missed more time than usual with a guy undergoing ligament surgery on his arm. And if anything, maybe it was a little bit rough to come back, but right now, it looks like you could put all that aside here. It feels like Jones all of a sudden has found the formula again. His ERA is still pretty high, but last 2 games allowed just 2 hits and 1 earned run in his last 2 outings, and those came against the Braves and the Phillies. So that shows how good he might be right now. It's a good matchup here against the Guardians. They come in with that lefty lineup against him, but they don't, do well against guys with, Jones has a pretty good fastball, and some other pitchers kind of really mowed through this Cleveland lineup. Yuri Perez, 6 innings, 6 K. Sandy, 8 Ks, 7 innings. Bradley and Sean Burke each had 10 Ks against him, and DeGrom had 9 Ks. So Cleveland is a swing and miss lineup. All those strikeouts, those have been within the last 2 weeks. So Jones really only goes about 70 pitches here right now, but man, there's no shortage of bats for him that might swing and miss in here in this one. You might have a good pitching matchup, actually. Williams did have some struggles in June, but looked great against the Twins. He had 11 strikeouts and 3 hits allowed in 7 innings, got a near 30% K rate. So, look, I think you're going to be seeing some swings, some misses here. With these two, I don't think they're in a position to get shelled. Like I said, Cleveland's offense, not quite. Pittsburgh's offense, that is for sure. Give me the under in the first 5 with Jones and Williams. I think these guys are looking to mow, and maybe this are your strikeout targets here with Jones and Williams today, given what we know, especially a Pirates lineup that, maybe eventually they break through. I mean, they've been the best lineup in the league pretty much against right-handed pitchers this season, and they really have been able to last 10 games against right-handed starters, they pretty much blistered them, averaging 3.3 earned runs against those starters and 5.3 hits in just 3.7 innings. That's in their last 10 games against right-handed starters. So, Gavin is great, especially at home, especially against left-handed hitters. He's kind of a reverse splits kind of guy, but Pittsburgh has, plenty of good right-handed bats in there as well right now with that incredible lineup here. Let's see what you think in this one. It's just Nine Legacy. He likes Jones over in his strikeout prop. All right, and I'll go under in the first 5. Hey, you're welcome to join me here on the Mornings Team and give me your comments at the end of the show. I'll award anyone who comments in the chat with 1 month of my plays complimentary over at winnable.com. So let's hear from you in the chat. All you got to do is say hello to be eligible, but we're looking for some picks from the rest here. I'm not going to have all the winners. Let's move on here next and take a look at the White Sox taking on the Blue Jays here with Anthony Kay. Going the left-hander, 4.23 ERA and a 6-4 record. Spencer Miles goes for the Blue Jays, 2.85 ERA and a 4-1 record. The Blue Jays were getting pretty warm there at the end of the first half, although they lost their last 2 games heading into the break. The White Sox, meanwhile, won 3 in a row. And so don't forget, we're still here. They swept the A's. Yes, maybe it was an easy series, kind of. The A's are on a long losing streak right now. And, yeah, Toronto was hot, but the Padres cooled them down in San Diego. Still, the Blue Jays are favored in this game with Spencer Miles. Now, maybe it is because of his pitching numbers here. Like I said, the overall numbers are a little bit more solid for Miles than Kay, but Kay's had a few more starts here. Could say that, maybe Miles will start to come back to the pack a little bit, but, Kay's had moments of being solid, but, still 17% K rate. He is good against left-handed hitters, but he's way better at home than he is on the road, actually. And I don't know if this really qualifies because you have those right-handed bats kind of on Toronto here. The Jays are stacked with righties, quite frankly. And even though they've been one of the worst offenses for some reason against left-handers, they've looked a little bit better here of late, averaging 2.9 earned runs and 5 hits in their last 10 games against left-handed starters, and have scored 2 or more runs in 6 straight games against left-handed starters. And they faced some pretty solid guys in that stretch. So maybe the Blue Jays can end up getting a few runs here, but man, it's hard to pass on the White Sox as a dog, especially if Kay can at least have a decent outing here. He's 6-4. I don't really have many problems with Kay. Miles has been excellent. Been mostly one of the a bulk starter. He comes in after an opener usually, but I don't think he has an opener here. 24% K rate. He's a good ground ball pitcher. Probably limited here, maybe 50 or 60 pitches is what they're saying. So the White Sox were hot. They scored 6 or more earned runs off of Ginn and Bybee as well. So they've really been hot against the last 6 right-handed starters they've seen. They've averaged 5.1 earned runs with 10 home runs. So I just like how the White Sox are still batting. Miles has allowed just 4 home runs all season. It hasn't allowed one in over a month. Obviously, the White Sox are one of the better home run hitting teams. So that might be a little bit tough here, for all their power. They aren't the best batting average team necessarily, but we know the Blue Jays have had their own set of problems. They can't hit for power at all. In fact, they have trouble driving in runs. That's their problem. Now, the Blue Jays might have the bullpen advantage. You've got Barlin, you've got Rogers in there, but they're going to have to get in there a little bit early. So it's a solid matchup for the Blue Jays offense versus K. Maybe Miles has more talent, but man, I just feel like the White Sox as a dog is kind of tough to pass up. So, all right, see what you got here in this one between the White Sox and the Blue Jays, and I'll make my pick here. And let's go to the chat all-stars. We've got Nuke says, like this video, subscribe to our channel, Sports Money, the new Sports Money Network here on YouTube. And Nine Legacy does like the White Sox there in this one on the road. All right. I've got the over here in this one. Give me the over with the White Sox and the Blue Jays here on the Morning Steam Show. Next up, we've got the Rangers on the road taking on the Braves. Cal Quantrill, he's back in the rotation. You think, where has he been? Has he been on the – no, he's been a reliever. If you've watched, he gets in there and been mostly a reliever this season. But look at his numbers. Maybe that's a good place for Quantrill. 3.1 ERA, 3-1 record. But if you look at those numbers, you look at some of the Rangers starting, right, you say like, well, why isn't Quantrill in the rotation? Well, he has been in there now. For the Braves, Chris Sale, 2.2 ERA, 9-6 record. Nothing wrong with Chris Sale. Could use a little run support here, but he's actually had some decent run support. 9 wins so far for Sale. That's pretty good. And their favorite, $2 favorite. What? The Braves couldn't beat anybody there late in the first half. They're still 15 games over 500, but they were having some problems there. Given a few games back here over the last couple of weeks, but they did win 3 out of 5 to end the first half there. A pretty decent series against the Pirates. They did lose the series at St. Louis. For Texas here, they did win their series against Houston at home. Feels like they still have a great chance here. They've really got to get it moving, though. 2 games over 500 right now. Not a terrible position here for the Rangers coming in. I kind of like Quantrill and Sale, obviously, here. The number is going to be a little bit low with Sale going in this one, but I like the starters to have probably a pretty decent start to this game. Like I said, Quantrill, who's mostly appeared in bulk relief this season, he started 2 straight games. Doesn't strike out a lot of hitters, but has a 1.14 WHIP. His last 3 appearances, just a 1.8 ERA and a 0.87 WHIP. Did throw 80 pitches last game, so I don't expect him to go more than that. They'll need to go into the bullpen. Quantrill, he's worse against lefties. That's good news for the Braves. They seem to have busted out of the slump a little bit here offensively, but still averaging 2 earned runs per game in their last 10 starts against right-handed pitching. That's, when the starters are in there. We're not including the bullpen, but they've struggled to get hits in certain situations. This should be a better spot for them, but Quantrill, he looks pretty okay right now. Sales as good as seems like 10 years ago with these numbers. 2.43 FIP, 30% K rate. He has gotten tagged a little bit in those last few games before the break, so that's the only concern about a guy, an older pitcher like Sale, is whether he can go the distance. He'll face a Rangers lineup that really was terrible against lefties, but all of a sudden they become one of the better teams against lefties, and that's really kind of turned their offense around too a little bit. Now they're back in the top 10 in nearly all the categories against left-handers here, and over the last 10 games against left-handers, they've really been tearing it up, averaging 3.9 earned runs against starting lefties and 6.6 hits, and that's against some good lefties too, like Detmers, Messick, Framber, early. So not bad here for the Rangers here. They've really been stepping it up right now. I kind of like their chances here to stay in this game, and especially early on. So look, I think that the starters will be solid. Let's see what happens when they get into them. I know that I say the Rangers are solid against lefties, but obviously Chris Sale is no ordinary lefty here right now. So let me go ahead and go under here in the first 5, but let's see what happens after that, after these two starters. Look, the Rangers, that's a big price, right? The Rangers are still playing pretty good ball. Yes, the Braves are hot here. It hasn't always been the best situation for the Rangers when going in and taking on Atlanta. Obviously, it's a interleague series. Long term, it has been a Braves series, but the Rangers have won 4 of the last 5 between the two teams overall, and the Rangers have gone 6-1 in their last 7 on the road. They've won 11 of their last 16 games coming in. And the Braves, of course, like I said, they did erase their slump, but they've still lost 13 of their last 20 games overall. Texas has gone over in 7 straight games, but I think with these two pitchers here, I'm going to go under in the first 5. But the Rangers offense has stepped it up. Watch for them against lefties not named Chris Sale. How's that? Let's see what you guys had to say. It's just 9 Legacy with me today, and he's got the Braves on the run line. Thank you to 9 Legacy. The Marlins are at the Brewers here in this one. Talk about two teams that ended with a thud. They were both looking like gangbusters here, but Miami finished the first half with 3 straight losses. They've got Sandy on the mound and Logan Henderson here for the Brewers. 3.18 ERA, 0.99 WHIP. He's 3-1. Sandy's 10-5. You still get great effort from Sandy. You can make fun of him a little bit, saying, when I always do it, right? We always say, oh, well, when's Sandy going to start? Look, I think what we're getting from Sandy is durability, great running deep into games. Yeah, he ends up giving up a few runs here and there nowadays, but you can't argue the fastball. I mean, when it's going for sure. Incredible velocity, but just can't shut people out anymore. It feels like 18% K rate. But, when he gets on top of hitters, that's when he's the strongest. He has been a little bit shaky on the road, that's for sure. And this Brewers offense is top 5 against right-handed starters. The offense finished the first half with some very solid games against the Pirates there, despite losing in that series. The offense doesn't seem to be the offense's problem. Henderson has been another one of these Brewers' arms. It seems like I just say the same thing every night, and he's back. He's healthy and had a good start against the Cardinals. 4 strikeouts and 5 1/3 innings. Did give up 3 earned runs and pitched 76 pitches. So I think you're going to get 80 pitches out of him here, barring unforeseen circumstances. Good numbers here, 30% K rate and a 2.24 FIP for Henderson. The Marlins offense has cooled down from that monster tear, and that was a monster tear they were on. I mean, that was you're not going to be able to sustain those numbers, but they were awesome. But they did nearly get shit out by Bybee there in the last game. 6.2 innings for Bybee, just 1 earned run and 4 walks. So we'll see how they do. They're still a top 5 lineup versus right-handers with guys like Hicks and Lopez in there. The bullpen should be pretty solid here in this one. And yes, these guys are, pretty decent pitchers here, but I don't know. These offenses are pretty good too. That the Marlins, don't sleep on this Marlins offense. I don't know. I want to say it was a fluke. I think they proved that they can hit a little bit. They just have trouble putting it all together. Hey, the record's not bad. They're still 52-45. Let's not belittle it here. They're about 7.5 games behind the Brewers in the standings, but they are above average. That's for sure. It's just the Brewers are been unconscious here most of the season. And I don't know, $1.45. I think that's a high price. I don't think there's any value with the Brewers, but they're certainly good enough to win this game. I guess you got the Sandy factor. Let's see what the chat has to say. It's just 9 Legacy and I here right now, and he's got the Brewers on the run line. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm taking the over in this one between the Marlins and the Brewers. I'll go over. I know I talked the pitchers up pretty good, but let's see what happens. These offenses are hot. We're hot. Hey, the Twins are on the road taking on the Cubbies. You got Bailey Ober going here, 4.4 ERA for Ober, 6-3 record for Colin Ray, 4.75 earned run average, a 7-5 record overall for Colin Ray. And Cubs here favored $1.40, 10.5 over 15. It's not like it's blowing 15 miles an hour here in Wrigley. I mean, I know once we get the wind blowing out, everyone gets all hot and bothered like it's going to be a slugfest. Maybe it is. These pitchers aren't off the charts or anything. Ober's been maybe a little bit better of late. We know he's inconsistent. We know he gives up some home runs, but he has some strikeouts in there. 17% K rate is not great on the road, and probably not going to hang your bankroll on him in this game, but should be able to keep him in there. It feels like right now the Twins are still a 500 ball club here, pretty much a game under. The Cubs are 12 games over, and they won a couple of games before the break over Cincinnati to take that series. Minnesota won their series at home against the Angels. The Cubs have been great at home this season, although right-handers can give them a little bit of a problem even at home. For Ober here, he's 9-3 to the over this season in his games. Meanwhile, Colin Ray's 10-4 to the over. But I think with the bullpens all intact here, I think this one, I just feel like the number's a little bit high. Could have some offense here, that's for sure. Like I said, Ober's been terrible away from home and gives up runs big time here. He's been hit hard. Doesn't matter, righty, lefty. Cubs should have, no problem maybe getting to Ober a little bit, but then once you get the bullpen in there, we'll see what happens. I mean, you still have two very strong offenses here. Cubs, top 5 in runs scored, also number 1 in drawing walks this season. Minnesota, top 10 lineup here for sure, and they can get it going. But the 10.5 is what bothers me here. Like I said, it's not like this one is a situation where the wind is blowing out at 20 miles an hour. It's like 7 miles an hour. It is warm. We'll give you that for sure here, but Cubs $1.35 in this one, 10.5 under at -115 for Colin Ray. Good ground ball pitcher here, has had some flashes, but still inconsistent. He's been better at home, that's for sure. And the Cubs here, Twins maybe a little bit better away from home offensively, and maybe better against right-handed pitching here. So maybe they can stay in here. I think once they get into the bullpens here, not that the bullpens are off the charts or anything with these two teams, but just that 10.5. I guess maybe it's time to adjust my numbers here in the middle of summer, because I'm just not feeling like that is even appropriate here, even in Chicago. Maybe it's one of those where the books know. Maybe it will be a massive over here in this one. The bullpens aren't great. I know that Minnesota's next to last in bullpen. So I like Ober and Ray to keep it solid at least in those early innings here. But then once it gets going, I have concerns maybe here for the Twins in this one. I'm going to take the Cubs on the run line here to get it done and blow them out here and take a little bit of plus money in this one. I'll take Chicago here on the run line in this one. Give me the Cubs at -1.5 at +130 or better. There's Trevor in the chat and Stop Geo here joining us. Next up, we've got the Orioles taking on the Astros in this one. Dean Kramer goes here, a 4.1 ERA, 1-2 record for Kramer. The Orioles ended the first half on a 4-game winning streak. For Peter Lambert, 3.14 ERA, 8-5 record here for Lambert. Orioles, though, come in hot. Yes, Kramer probably should be a little bit better with these numbers, but he hasn't been around all season so far, just a few starts. So I think he will get better. Meanwhile, for Lambert, man, you got to be impressed with what he's done here so far this season. And, like I said, you take some guys out of Colorado, and they'll be just fine, it feels like, huh? Singer's been downright, Kramer here has been, like I said, just a few starts here so far. Good stuff here for sure. Low walk rate. Does kind of give up the home run. He gave up 4 home runs to the Cubs in his last start. That was really his worst outing of the season, though. Still has a 28% K rate. The Astros have been a top 10 offense of late, although not as good at home as they are on the road, and they are better against right-handed pitching, though, like Kramer. And, the lineup will be stacked here, but he's kind of a reverse splits guy. That's why it makes such a big deal with Houston here. They have all those right-handers except for Jordan, and probably Lamont Wade will be in there today. Lambert's been good and reliable arm for sure. 3.92 FIP, 23% K rate, 9.3% walk rate. The Orioles offense looked good. They scored 5 or more runs in their last 3 games, and all against right-handers. So I thought the price was a little bit too high, actually, for this, or not too high, but I think maybe indicative of the Orioles' chances here. Let's see what it is right now. I mean, Houston barely a favorite in this one, maybe $1.15 or so here with these two. So let's see what you have in the chat. Lambert's probably more reliable, but Kramer has been lights out prior to that start against the Cubs. Let's see what the chat has to say here. It's going to be nothing in the chat except for someone from Twitch. Over there, some spam. So, all right, I guess that means I'm going to make my call here in this one in the game between the Orioles and the Astros here tonight. Kramer against Lambert in this one. I got to go under with these two right now. Give me the under here with the Orioles and the Astros here on the Morning Steam Show. We'll keep it moving here right now. Next, on 9 Legacy here. He's got the Orioles. Me and 9 Legacy hanging out. Next up, we've got the Padres taking on the Royals here in this one. Michael King goes for the Padres against Seth Lugo of the Royals. Does seem like a little bit of a pitching matchup, even though King has had some struggles here right now. But still, 3.4 ERA, 6-7 record. Lugo's seen his ERA climb to 4.55, a former Padre. 3-6 record here for Lugo, 1.43 whip. The Royals stumbled to the finish in the end of the first half. They're probably the worst team going there as the first half came to an end. The Royals have lost 5 straight. Well, I guess it was the A's, but the Royals have lost 5 straight, and the Padres come in having won 4 of the last 6 meetings, but the Padres have struggled on the road, losing 7 of their last 8 overall on the road and 11 of their last 16 overall. Padres have gone under in 7 of their last 10. 7 of the last 10 meetings between these two teams have gone over. Still, we're dealing with another summer 10 out here, it seems like, right now. But I like the Padres here to get it done. I'm taking the Padres today over the Royals, and I'll take them here at a slight favorite in this one at minus, boy, it's going up a little bit here, $1.20 at some sites right now. So maybe the move is on the Padres a little bit here. In this matchup. King's had some shaky starts for sure, but he's been reliable, has good K stuff, 21% K rate. Just a 10% walk rate is pretty bad, but Royals offense has been better at home, solid against right-handed pitching, and they did score 20 runs in their last 2 home games before they hit the road and lost those consecutive games, but the lineup has been up and down. King should be able to put together a solid start, and the Padres have a pretty strong bullpen for sure. Their numbers are only inflated because they've given up some massive run games. When they're bad, but they're just not bad that often. Usually it's all or nothing for the Padres bullpen. Lugo struggled with contact teams, been better at home, but has given up 2 or more earned runs in 4 straight starts right now, 4.19 FIP. The Padres get on base, and they've been drawing the walks. I mean, that's been key for the Padres, is more patience at the plate. They really need to get it going, or they're going to be left out of the postseason. They don't even know if they're buyers or sellers at this point, so it's going to be up to the team to get rolling here right now. And they haven't been great on the road, but I think with King here, I like the Padres. All right, here's Ranger. Nice to have Ranger in the chat. Wow, Ranger, good to have you. Nice to have Ranger here. He says Padres and sprinkle the run line. Lugo and the Kansas City bullpen probably give it up, he says. Thank you, Ranger. Man, saving the show out here. No one wants to make picks with me anymore on the morning Steam show. Might have to, maybe we'll just turn this into a recorded show so Razor can get it on in the right time slot. I'll just record it overnight. I love to hear from you, and I love to talk with you in the chat. We're the most interactive. I mean, the funny thing about this is no one shows more comments on the screen on any of these YouTube shows than I do, but we just don't have a lot of folks willing to make any picks. Maybe we change the time slot. I don't know. Okay, Reds, and I come here to interact with the chat, I think. My lonely life. Reds and Rockies here. Ooh, Singer is going here in this one. 4.71 ERA, 3-9 record here. He's up against Gabriel Hughes. Hughes just getting going here. 3 ERA, no record, but 8 strikeouts so far for Hughes. Let's see what you think here. Hughes was recently called up, and he was a solid strikeout pitcher in the minors. Really great, actually. Against the Dodgers, he had 7 strikeouts through 6 innings and just 3 earned runs against the Dodgers. So he looks good, this prospect here. Singer's been terrible, giving up a ton of home runs this year, 20 home runs, but did look better over the past couple months here. Looked good against the Phillies in his last start, 7 1/3 innings, just 1 earned run, but not great on the strikeouts. And on the road, he's really kind of a disaster. Rockies have been great at home with this offense. The way Singer's looked here, his splits are worse against lefties, and you got a Rockies team smacking the ball here, Smacky the Frog, with these left-handers, with McCarthy, with Moniak, with Rumfield. These guys are solid at home here right now. Man, it feels like about as good a spot as it can get, as bad as the Rockies are here. As long as we get to see something like this Hughes that we've seen. Now, the Reds offense did look solid before the break, did have 3 or more runs in their last 3 games, but against righties on the road, that's not their best spot. They are in Colorado, obviously. They could have some success here. Colorado wasn't really winning games there at the end, but the offense has been good. They just need some cooperation from the pitching. Maybe they got it here with Hughes, but he's still unproven, untested for the most part here in the major leagues. But this offense here feels pretty good. I got to take the Rockies here in the first 5 in this one. Give me the Rocks. First 5 against the Reds. That's what I'm going to do. And Colorado here in the first 5, minus $1.25. All right, let's see here. We got nothing from the chat in this one either. And Tigers take on the Angels in this one. Trey Melton goes. Man, Melton's been solid. 1.82 ERA and a 5-1 record. Man, the Tigers could ever get it going. It seems like they have some pitching, but just can't seem to get it going, shake it around here right now. So let's see what you got in this one going up against Reed Detmers. Yeah, 4.39 ERA, 3-6 record, but a 1.14 WHIP. We know Detmers is a hit or miss type of pitcher here, and he should be able to kind of hang in there. It feels like here with the Angels, at least at home. Detroit's still 8 games under 500 again. Just when I got them back to 6 games under, they lost the last 2 games of the break. The Angels, meanwhile, did lose 3 of their last 4 heading into the break. They're not going anywhere. They're one of the worst teams in the league here. No reason why they won't maybe compete in this game, but Melton's numbers are so solid. And Detmers, as good as he is, he still seems to find a way to give up enough runs. Melton, though, so far, 21% K rate. He had 9 strikeouts in 5 1/3 innings in his last start here against who was he up against? The A's. So it wasn't that big of a deal, maybe, but still very solid numbers. Hasn't been pitching the whole season, so yeah, there'll be some regression eventually here. But the Angels, this is their worst situation offensively, it feels like here. Right now at home against right-handers. This is where they've actually had some struggles. They also strike out more than pretty much any team in the league. I think they're number 1, 25% K rate against righties on the season. Now, they were scoring some runs in their last few games on the break, but the pitching was letting them down. So Trout is back. That's good. But for the Angels here, you got Detmers, been inconsistent, struggled in recent games, 5 or more earned runs in his last 2 starts. Yes, Tigers have been better against lefties here. I'm going to take the Tigers in the first 5 in this one against the Angels with Melton. Can't believe here, I'm looking at it, right? The Tigers are now a favorite, so let me at least flip-flop there. Oh, I have them as a favorite on the screen. Overnight, they actually started this game as an underdog somehow. And it feels like they're getting it together. I don't know if they have enough to, kind of make it here. I want to also mention here, Sam Burns just did finish his round at Royal Birkdale, and he kind of took the alternate route. He finished strong, and he shot a 62. Isn't that amazing? I talked about how all the top rounds in major history has come where 2 players shot 62 on the same course, kind of indicating that maybe the conditions were ripe, and that happened again here today. So Burns finished with a 62. Sam Burns is at 5 under, still 3 shots back of Lucas Herbert, but still incredible round here. We're seeing some low scores. I saw J.J. Spawn just come in with a 67 here. He's rolling a little bit. Cam Young, 67 today at 6 under here. Not everyone's great, but that just in. All right, let's see here. We do got. And Ranger says he'll pass on that one. 9 Legacy says Padres money line, Reds today money line, and Tigers run line. And Ranger in there says Colorado first 5. Colorado. You don't get many situations where you're like, boy, good situation for Colorado, but this offense, I think everyone agrees, maybe even at home, maybe yes, they are a little bit better. They're always going to be, right? But if you could be just a little bit better than the road team at home, I guess it doesn't matter how much the advantage is when you're dealing with that Colorado. Colorado. And Ranger says Detroit for full game money line, full game under as well. First 5 under. Thank you to Ranger. What is this? What is the? I want to say. What's the Granger say? It's how work gets done. Ranger. It's how the capping gets done. All right. Cardinals and Diamondbacks. Oh, I got a picture for the Diamondbacks here. I don't know if it's – I'll put in Merrill Kelly. It is Merrill Kelly, but I just forgot to type him in. McGreevy, actually. He is official now, it looks like here. it wasn't necessarily totally official with McGreevy here, but McGreevy on the mound, on the road, 301 ERA. This is a starting pitching mismatch. If we just look at the numbers, right? McGreevy here, 301 ERA, 4-7 record, and a 1.1 whip. Talk about maybe he hasn't had the best run support, right? Because seems like McGreevy's pitched pretty well this season. Merrill Kelly, not so much. You got to wonder, I mean, bring back Brandon Pfaadt here and get rid of Merrill Kelly. 5.38 ERA, 7-8 record, though. Talk about run support. Kelly gets it. He gets a 1.51 whip so far this season. He's been downright bad. McGreevy been pretty reliable. Yes, sure, he struggled at times, but looks sharp in his last 3 games. 1.47 ERA, 0.87 whip, and just a 4.5% walk rate in those 3 games. The most impressive thing was the teams that he faced were the Marlins, the Braves, and the Brewers. So that makes it even more impressive. The Diamondbacks will be a much easier matchup here, really. They're dead last in pretty much every category against right-handers this season. This is a dreadful matchup for Arizona. No wonder they're a slight underdog here. They probably should be bigger underdog the way they're going against right-handers this season. They're last in batting average, last in on-base percentage, last in slugging, last in OPS, last in weighted runs created plus, and going up against a pretty decent pitcher, it feels like here in McGreevy. So now the Diamondbacks did just score 6 runs against Yoshi, but Yamamoto was he's been up and down as good as he's supposed to be. We've been talking about it all year, like, hey, here comes Yamamoto, and he still gives us a mediocre effort half the time, it feels like. So given the recent form here and the Diamondbacks struggles, this seems like a pretty good spot here for McGreevy in this one. And the Cardinals, not too bad in the bullpen either. The Diamondbacks probably have the advantage, but Merrill Kelly's got to show up here, it feels like, and he's been dreadful. He's one of the worst pitchers in baseball, although give him some credit, he's been a little bit better of late. Last 3 starts, his ERA is 4, okay, compared to the 5.38 ERA. Cardinals offense has certainly been up and down. We saw maybe Jordan Walker here will stay hot off those home run derby win. They do sometimes make fun of the home run derby winners, right, or the participants. They always come out a little sluggish after using all those swings up. But see what you have here. Feels like as long as there's a solid right-handed pitcher on the mound, you're supposed to go against Arizona. They did win their last 4 games of the first half. They're trying to get it going here. They swept the Dodgers. I think I'm pretty sure we had Arizona in all 3 games, though. We kind of saw it coming there for the Dodgers. So give me the Cardinals here in the first 5, just in case Arizona gets it coming back. It just feels like McGreevy, a big advantage here in the starting pitching department right now, and I'll take the Cardinals in the first 5 in this one. Give me the Cards here at minus. I'll take him at minus $1.30. Okay, and in the chat, hey, we're picking up some steam here. Oh, no problem, AOD. I just like I try to give everyone a chance on some of those shows. Massive numbers of comments, and they never even show them on the screen. Maybe I'm going about it all wrong. Maybe I shouldn't be showing the comments, and then I'd get a bunch of comments. But I watched those other shows, and they got more comments, and the guys never put the comments even on the screen. They just go right on by, like you guys are talking to nobody, and here I am willing to put all the comments on the screen, but no one comments. All right. But hey, you guys are great, man. I mean, I wouldn't, if we had 0 viewers, I wouldn't do the show. That's obvious, right? Or maybe I would. I felt bad a little bit for Sniz on the middle of the night stream. I know he had some viewers in there, and you can't see the viewers from the end. You're like, I'm sitting here in the middle of the night on a members only stream. Do I have anybody even watching? But I was in there, Sniz. I was in there with you. All right. Next up, we got a couple more here. Nationals and Athletics in this one. You've got Cade Cavalli going here for the Nationals. And hey, the Nationals still hanging in there, no problem right now. Yes, they stumbled to the finish here in the first half. They got swept there uh, by the Yankees at home. No problem. But hey, you're going up against the A's, and the A's are playing the worse than anybody right now. Worst team in the league here currently over the last 3 or 4 weeks now. They've fallen to 14 games under 500. They're on a 9-game losing streak. Gauge jump, 3.5 ERA, 3-4 record for jump, 1.3 whip. He's looked good, but he's starting to, come back a little bit to the pack anyway. Cavalli, 3.83 ERA, 5-4 record, 1.35 whip. Looks promising. Not terrific, but he's still pretty solid, pretty good here. He's had rough moments, but really still has a good upside here. 25% K rate, just has to keep that awesome curve going. The Athletics have been terrible here. They've scored just 6 runs in their last 6 games. Who's going to believe them to turn it around here? Now, it did feel like that fatigue was kind of the thing that settled in a little bit, but man, there's no doubt they were really struggling. Now, they've been great at home, but this slump has to be a concern. And if Cavalli's getting strikeouts, the A's could struggle again here in this one. The Nationals aren't necessarily going to struggle. Okay, on the road, maybe it'll be a little bit tougher, but against left-handed pitching, probably one of the top 2 teams in the league against lefties, right? And this lineup's been better in away games anyways. This looks like a great spot here for Washington in this one. I think they'll have a pretty good game here, and I think Cavalli could have a decent game here even with this one. Now, it is 10 because, hey, well, why not? We're here in West Sacramento, but I don't know if it's going to go that way. Are the A's really going to get to Cavalli and company here? Nationals do have an elite offense, but they're on the road anyway. So let's see what you have. I think given, the fact that how good the Nationals have been against left-handers here, I figure they'll get off to a pretty good start in this one. And let's see. Here comes some plays from the chat. Nine Legacy says Snakes, Moneyline, and got a murder beat up in here. Got a murder beat. I think is that Nationals? There it is. Nationals got a murder beat up in here. And Ranger says Washington, Oakland, first 5 under. I agree with that. I agree with that, Ranger, and Ranger's been strong here with us. Let's go under in the first 5. I'm going to tail Ranger. How about that? Get him in here making – I know we've had Ranger, I think, before. And, Ranger, maybe everyone's behind. Maybe that's part of it. I'm going to go under in the first 5 there with Ranger. I like that play, and I'm going to tail it. I'm not going to blame Ranger if I go down. I already had it marked down here as it was either going to be that or the full game under. But the fact that Ranger said that, I'm down with that. Let's do it. Let's go first 5 under. Jump has been good. Cavalli's been good. And I think eventually the Nationals probably get to these guys eventually because this offense has been so good. The Nationals, man. Let's go under 5.5 at minus $1.25 in the first 5. We're down to our last game here right now in the return to play for baseball, right? Did I miss a game? It's been going so fast here. Giants and Landon Pride Day Roop on the mound against Bryce Miller. Boy, this looks like a Bryce Miller here. How good has he been? 2.18 ERA, just a 4-3 record because the Mariners' offense just woeful. 0.83 whip, and this guy's 4-3. Boy, how dreadful is that? But this got to be a better spot here for the Mariners, I would think, in this one. All right, it's $1.55. I don't know if I want to lay a money line like that here on the morning steam show. Seattle's offensive woes kept them down again. In those games, they did win their last game before the break. Only snapped a losing streak, though. They were getting beat up by Miami and Tampa Bay and all those great bats, and the Mariners couldn't score enough to keep up. Still have a decent pitcher here in Roop, I guess. 4.26 ERA, 6-8 record, 1.31 WHIP. Maybe he's starting to feel the effects of pitching full seasons here in the major leagues. He's tailed off a little bit here over the last few weeks. Still good strikeout stuff, but he's been hittable. He struggles with walks, 10% walk rate. Looked great in his last start, 8 innings and 1 earned run, but the Mariners have looked great as well, and they're scored 8 runs and beat the Braves to snap that losing streak. Roop's got a great curve as well, and that's what you got to be careful with, because this offense has not been good against the curveball, and Roop's got about as good a curveball as anybody here. But man, this Seattle team with Miller should be able to get it going right now. The Giants offense looked good before the break, 3 or more runs in their last 4 games. They've been better on the road, that's for sure, but as solid as they've looked against righties, Miller is totally different here right now. And you see this total, the lowest on the board. That tells you pretty much everything you need to know, it feels like right now. So I think the Giants, though, in this matchup, not the best matchup for them, it feels like. I think the Mariners at home with Miller, probably a little bit better. I'm going to take the Mariners here. I'm going to take them on the run line, actually, in this one, and take about a plus $1.25, but maybe $1.30. Let me see what it is here. Give me the Mariners on the run line to get it done over the Giants in this one. I think it will be low early. Maybe the Mariners will get that win here. Yes, this offense has been bad, but maybe 4-2 feels like the right place for me. I'll still take the Mariners on the run line. Not a lot of conviction, but all right. Yep, there you go. Branger says we might get some losses here. Branger says first 5, Seattle under, and both bullpens are hard to trust here. We're talking about Seattle and San Francisco right now. San Francisco probably bottom 10 here at this point, but Seattle, I don't think that should be overlooked. And the reason why I'm taking them here on the run line is because they are a top 5 bullpen here so far this season. And remember, the funny thing about this is we got these totals today. I mean, a lot of 8.5s, 9s, even some 10s, and every bullpen is rested. So, yeah, they're not all good. That probably is part of it. But, hey, you just heard some steam coming in the background there, and it was with the game between the Twins and the Cubs. That game has gone to 11 now, pretty much everywhere, 11 under 15 or so, steam to the over here with the Twins and the Cubs. That just into the morning steam show, line move with the over, Twins and the Cubs. That's going to do it here. That's going to do it for Major League Baseball, and like a dummy, I spent the last 5 minutes, and the show was late getting on the air because I had to do my graphics, and I get talking, and then I forget to roll all the graphics today again. Great. Here's the first panel. If you want to take a look there are some details here that might be of interest. I can't even see it here. But I do have, anyway, a little bit of information here. I'll show them here. I blew it talking to the screen the whole time, but maybe I have the team record with the pitcher and the team over-under with that pitcher up there. So maybe there's a little bit of information that I can share, because I totally blew it again. Took an extra 5 minutes, and Razor said, "Get on the air, Ramon, get on the air." No wonder no one says anything in the chat. But then I forgot to roll the graphics. So let me see. Here's panel number 2 anyway. And so, I'm firing up the graphics, trying to get the AI to do it right. I'm 5 minutes late, and then I don't use the graphics. I mean, you talk about sketchy. Right? No wonder I can't sit. No wonder I get kicked off of every show. All right, let's go to the WNBA here right now. Oh, Ranger had a little bit of more action there. San Francisco plus 2.5 and under 8.5. Thank you, Ranger. Great job. Let me do the WNBA here with 4 games. At least we got the graphic. I think it's right. I don't know if I like these new, plain graphics, but it actually takes less time to render them. Let's get to our 4 games here. And, let me see. We got a little bit of an injury update, I think. Let me just check it out here, see if it's important. Okay. Uh, Washington pitcher Jake Irvin is headed to the 60-day injured list with a shoulder injury. That just into us here on the morning steam. All right, let's take a look at our 4 games here in the WNBA for tonight. We'll start with Atlanta and Toronto. Hey, make sure you check me out. I was on the 2-3 Zone WNBA handicapping show yesterday. Check that out. I've got it there in my you'll get it there in the winnable free plays over there, and it's also on YouTube, so you want to catch me there. I'm going to give you the previews here right now. It won't be as in-depth, but let me talk about these games here. Atlanta taking on the Toronto Tempo. Atlanta probably in their worst slump of the season here right now. Atlanta has gone 0-9 against the spread in their last 9 games. They've also lost 6 of their last 8. Doesn't look like the same team here right now. 1-4 ATS in their last 5 on the road, but they're going up against a Toronto team that has been struggling as well. They've lost 5 of their last 6, 1-4 ATS, their last 5 at home, and 1-5 ATS in their last 6 overall. What happens when you got 2 struggling teams like that? To me, it seems like when you got the struggling team on the road, like you do with Atlanta, that maybe that helps a unpolished team here like Toronto. They're 10-14 overall. Atlanta 14-10 straight up overall. But Atlanta's just 6-6 on the road. Toronto 6-8 straight up at home. I would think it would help a team like Toronto, although they've gotten beat in both of the games so far this season by Atlanta. They lost here 102-77 back about a month ago, and then they played a week later at Atlanta, and Atlanta won 94-87, but they didn't cover 14.5 points. So they've actually split the meetings so far this season against the spread. Atlanta's gone over in 9 of their last 13 games. Toronto's gone over in 9 of their last 13 games. So with 2 struggling teams, maybe that's because the defenses were a little bit shaky here right now. So maybe you look to maybe a high score with these 2. Both of the first 2 meetings did go over this season. Last one went over 178.5. They are asking you to lay 5 more points here in this one. The way these 2 are going at 1.8, well, it's down to 181.5. Actually, the move has been to the under here, so maybe that will squeeze you in. Maybe there will be a little more defense. I don't know. You got a Toronto team that's 13-4 to the over as an underdog this season. So let me get over in the first half here at 90.5. I'll take over first half in Toronto and Atlanta at 90.5. 9 Legacy likes the tempo with those points. And they're getting, man, it's all the way up. I show it on the screen here at 9.5, but it's clearly, let me see. It was 9.5 on the graphic there. Where is my graphic, by the way, on this one? There it is. Says 8.5 there, but it's 9.5. I'm even showing a 10 right now at the big B, a 10 in this one. Wow. So the move has been on the dream for sure. Look, I tell you this too. The sharps are all over the dream in this game. It's just that the dream have failed to cover in 9 straight games, and now you're laying pretty much got to win by double digits on the road. Now the tempo has shown some weakness, but they also have one of the best players in the league in Mabry here so far. She was averaging 30 points a game. Well, she's averaging about 21.5, 22 points per game, but had a stretch there of about 8 games averaging 30 points a game before Washington choked her off for just 8 points. But little WNBA news here in right now, not affecting today's games, but and Setu Sabali is going to be out indefinitely with concussion symptoms. Sabali will be out. Okay, let's keep it moving here in the WNBA tonight, and then the show will be over. Don't forget, coming up in an hour and 15 minutes, it's the baseball show, Bases Loaded, with Mikey Money and Sharky Waters. Bring you the baseball card here. They'll review all the games, preview all the games here for the action on Friday. Next up, the Sparks are taking on the Sky. Here you got two struggling teams for sure. The Sparks, they kept it afloat here without Plum of late, but they're still a slight underdog here to the Sky, just going to show how rough things are going here. We're eye on Friday. Chicago here coming in off of a win, actually, although it was against Seattle, a fellow cellar dweller type team, 95-90. It seems like Chicago can only beat the also-rans, but maybe that's what LA is here right now. Now, LA just did beat Chicago at home, 102-87 here, and we got a little bit of breaking news here right now. Let me just jump in. Not a big breaker, but just want to say it here while we're just getting the information live. Junior Caminero, who took that shot off his pinky, and there were even worries that, man, did he break that finger? He is in the starting lineup today against Boston in that first game. Caminero in today against Boston. All right. Anyway, in conclusion here, the Sparks have covered 4 in a row, but Chicago's been okay too. They've covered 2 straight in this one. I think Chicago probably gets off to a pretty good start, and I think LA may be in for it here. I'm going to take the Chicago Sky in this one. In the first half, give me the Sky on the money line here in the first half against the LA Sparks. I'll take the Sky here at minus $1.10. First half in this one. All right, 9 Legacy likes the Sparks on the money line. Also the Fever on the spread. Let me go to that one. Here we go. The Storm taking on the Fever here. And got the Fever here with an extra parentheses. They're favored by 8.5. Total 1. Ooh, look at this total. It has gone up, up, up. Why is that, I wonder? Okay, I mean, I figure I know why, but with the Fever here, maybe can have a big night. But, man, 177.5, they're reeling me in here a little bit. I already was leaning under. The move's on the over. I've been pretty warm in the NBA. Anybody's been watching me on the 2-3 zone this week. Got the Fever here by 8.5. Now 177.5 in this one. In fact, I'm showing the Fever here by 9.5. The Fever aren't covering a lot of games, that's for sure. But let's see how you have it anyway. Fever are pretty dreadful. Well, they're 500, but they're favored by 9.5 here when you're only 6-7. ATS at home, you got Seattle here. At least they're 13-10. ATS as an underdog here now. I know why it's going up. Maybe on the total, the Fever are an over team here for sure. They're 8-5 to the over at home. They're not a massive over though for sure. This one just keeps going up and up and up. I can't believe the move is on Indiana. The move is on the over here. I kind of feel like I'm opposite in this game, actually, with these two. Seattle continues to kind of hang in there. Yes, they did lose that game to Chicago, but they had covers against Washington, Atlanta, and they beat LA. Indiana, meanwhile, they just got blown out by the Valkyries, 88-75. It wasn't the best of games for sure for Indiana. In that game. In fact, if you look at overall the way they performed in that game, it just, a lackluster effort there. It seemed like only 75 points in that one. I think it's against probably a pretty good defense overall. Now, Dominique Malonga, the 20-year-old, makes the all-star team. She's been really strong. She's a great rebounder here. Flau'jae Johnson also continuing to improve. She had 11 field goals in that game against Chicago. I like what I see. I know Seattle's coming in here 6-20. Right now, they've lost 3 straight. They've lost 16 of their last 19, but they continue to cover here. And the Fever just don't show any urgency when they're a big double-digit favorite, I think. Now, Indiana, they were on that road trip, right? 4 straight games on that road trip. four games on that road trip. They won 3 of them. Great job. They come home against Golden State and they lose. Now they got a game here 2 days later again. I mean, I'm not saying they've been busy, but that's what concerns me. Give me at Seattle in the first half here in this one, and I'll go ahead and take 5 points here with Seattle in the first half. Give me the Storm +5 in the first. 5.5 here. You can get 5.5. I'm taking it. Give me the Storm in the first half. All right, and Ranger says if Clark is playing, fade the Fever. They play better without her. The public loves the Indy Clarks. I don't know. It feels like half the public doesn't like Clark. What a firestorm. And let's see here. Ranger says 20% three-point shooting, 5 turnovers. Clark is not great. She's closer to bad. I don't know if I can agree with that, but she's also been playing. Obviously, she is injured and trying to grind this through a little bit. That back injury is definitely bothering her right now. But no defense. We know that for sure, right, Ranger? No doubt about it. Okay, let's do a couple of more here with the Sun taking on the Mercury here in this one. You got the Sun here. Hey, they came off a win there. Yeah, they're one of those teams. They're 6-18 here. Hey, the Sun and the Mercury. You can't go anywhere without these two. The Sun are 12-8 against the spread as an underdog. The Mercury are 3-8 against the spread at home. Boy, that seems like it should be obvious here, shouldn't it, between these two? But Mercury still, man, just 3-8 at home here right now. The Mercury just 8-17. Got 2 bottom feeders here in the league right now. Now, Phoenix is 8-3 to the over at home, and I don't think these two teams are going to be that clunky here. 164. I think this would be, to me, an over game. You don't have 2 great defenses here at all. Sure, do these teams struggle offensively? Well, yeah, but I would think that affects the other way. I think if you got 2 bad teams, I think that is, I think you go to the offense in those two. Do I not have that right? Anyway, I guess each situation is different. The Sun has been one of the better reliable teams against the spread here. It feels like right now, at least of late. They've been coming off of that 90-87 victory over Portland. They shot 52% and had 28 assists. Aaliyah Edwards is playing terrific. 21 points in 24 minutes in that last game. Yes, Connecticut averaging just 80 points, but you want to go up against a bad team to help your offense, I would think. On the Sun, just 27.5% from three-point range and 69% from the free throw line, and there's nothing you can do to help them there. That is a big problem. Still, they force 15 turnovers a game. Phoenix has lost 4 of 5. They just played Minnesota, shot 55%, and scored 100 points and covered the spread in a 104-100 loss. Kalia Copper, 26 points in that one, but no doubt, Alyssa Thomas did get screwed out of the All-Star game, but you know what? Maybe if she was a little bit cooler to people on the court, like Caitlin, maybe, you know what? Don't diss Caitlin. You'll miss the All-Star game. So, I don't know if there's any politics there. I mean, if anything, I think if you had to look at the All-Star teams that were just released here yesterday, or I guess it was yesterday, right? It was the day before. Can't even remember right now. But to me, I would think that, the biggest snub is Alyssa Thomas. I think Chelsea Gray probably could have made it as well, but who are you going to take out? I mean, there's some others that could have made it too. De'Erica Hamby, Ionescu, she's been too injured, so she's not going to make it. Maybe Bridget Carlton. I guess if you had to get rid of, and not only that, but Jessica Shepard starting, she totally deserves it. Olivia Miles starting as a rookie, totally great. I already talked about Dominic Malonga, the 20-year-old. So Thomas was clearly robbed. Gray probably has a complaint. I think if you had to get anybody off the roster to make way for those two, I probably would. Jackie Young and also Kiki Iriafen, probably, she made it as well. So I think those are the two. I would probably say no. I would probably have gone with Alyssa Thomas, right, and probably Chelsea Gray, and probably not had Jackie Young and Aria Fenn, even though I love Aria Fenn. Maybe got in there. She has not been, and she's been injured a little bit here of late. All right. Did I make my pick here? Or was I just complaining again? I'll take the, in this one, between the Sun and the Mercury, give me the over in the first half. Let's see if I'm right about that. I think when you got two bad teams, that helps those offenses kind of get going where they've struggled against good teams. So I'll go over here in the first half. It seems like the move has been a little, well, I can't say that. I have 164.5 on the screen, but it's clearly 163.5 or even 163. Give me the over in the first half here, 83.5. I'll do it. Over in the first half here. Is the show over right now? All right, let's see what we got here. Thank you to Ranger and Nine Legacy here for helping me out with the picks. Nine Legacy, Mercury on the spread, and Kiki and Jackie deserve All-Star. No, you're right, Nine Legacy, but I'm just trying to. To me, I don't know. To me, like I said, I just think that. Alyssa Thomas and Chelsea Gray, I would rate them ahead of those two players. But you can't just make an exception and put two more on there. So I was just trying to decide, because she should be on there. Okay, Nuke has the play right here. And there it is. Let me get the graphic up here. He says take BC. So Nuke is on BC plus the 2 points in this one. So I'll go to the total since Nuke is giving us BC here with Nathan Rourke in there right now. Let me make sure we got this right. Okay, so Nuke gives us BC. So I'll move to the total here in this one. You see, look at this, the total here at 61. Now look. Okay, I know every game's gone over. This game is probably going to be close to an over, but I think the matchup for Rourke might be a little bit tough. Look, Nuke's got him here. They're 1-3. The Elks are 4-1. Nuke is taking this 2-point dog here, so it shows you what is expected by CFL experts, if you will, with what Nuke is saying. So I just have a feeling here that maybe these overs are going to calm down a little bit here. And let's see. Nuke says he'll take him on the money line at plus $1.25 even. He likes this team to go in there and get this win despite what we've seen so far from BC. A little bit of a rough start for sure, but they got, Hatcher in here, Keon Hatcher. You've got McInnes here in this one. And there's Ranger. Thank you, Ranger, for some great takes in there today. Really appreciate your contributions here to the show. And, yeah, there's no doubt that, there's also a little bit of who sells the tickets, I guess, too, no doubt. And Nuke says, look, the Elks at one loss was to BC here. So, all right, Nine Legacy does like Edmonton laying those 2 points. And look, I'll just do it on the show here, okay? Because I'll go ahead and take the under in this one. Look, I've no doubt it's probably going to be pretty close. All these games have been outrageous this year. No doubt about it. It's been pretty fun in the CFL with all these overs. But I don't know, other than, look, here's the one thing about BC. I'll say this. Watch out. We know that in the CFL, it's a passing league, right? We know that. But watch for BC. They really get the running backs involved. If anything, I would look for Butler and Horvath to be key players in this game. I don't think any team has, although Edmonton, Rankin is off the charts. I guess if you got to include here's the two teams with probably the two best running back combos in the whole league with Rankin and Leak over there for Edmonton and Butler and Horvath here for. I don't know if you're going to have two teams with two good, decent running backs in their lineups here. right now. What a shot I just saw here by Molinari. I think that's probably on tape because he put that one in from about 70. So I'll go under in this one with BC and Edmonton, but I'm going to look to those running backs for the props here today. Butler, Horvath, Rankin, and Leak, especially Butler and Horvath. The one thing Edmonton has problems doing is keeping running backs kind of in check a little bit. So got some guys here on Edmonton as well. Fajardo, but Rankin has been so incredible. Listen to some of these games so far. Last game, 150 total yards, 3 touchdowns for Rankin, had 100 yards receiving in the loss to BC, 10 receptions in that game for Rankin. He's had 3 outstanding games. He had a monster game against Montreal where he rushed for 179 yards on 18 carries and still had 51 yards receiving, 230 yards of total offense in that one. So even though you think of the CFL as a passing league, Rankin has had 100 yards rushing in 4 of the 5 games this season. And the one game where he only had 19 yards rushing, he had 100 yards receiving. So Justin Rankin of Edmonton has been a great player so far. All right, that's going to do it here for the Morning Steam Show. Thank you, everybody. Had a great time. Hey, I got a little something here for you today. I've got a play tonight in the let me make sure I get this right. I want to make sure I get the play right. In the NBA Summer League. Let me get this off the screen here. There we go. I've got a play for you in the NBA Summer League tonight where I've had a really good run. Make sure you're following me over at winnable.com. Get hooked up with some of these plays here anyway. And we're going to look to the game here between Dallas and the Knicks. And I've got under here in this one between Dallas and the Knicks. The total it's been going down. It's down to 174. I've got the under in this one here with Dallas and the Knicks go under. And that game is at 8:30 Eastern and 5:30 Pacific time. Take the under in that one between Dallas and the Knicks. And those are all consolation games today. Not a lot of priority, getting just another game in there. So that's going to do it here for the Morning Steam Show. We got everything covered here today, and I really appreciate all of you. So let's do the drawing right now and give someone 1 month of plays over at winnable.com. If you do win the drawing here, just use the promo code WINNER when you sign up over at winnable.com. And you'll get 1 free month. Now make sure you cancel if you don't like what you're getting from me, but I think you'll keep subscribing at $19.99 a month and $19.95 a month. And not only that, you'll get more plays from me every day for just 38 cents a day. So if you like this show for 38 cents, why not subscribe over at winnable.com? We got dozens of subscribers over there buying me pizzas every day. What a life. Here we go. Let's do the drawing and see who's going to win, unless it's one of those spam bots. But other than that, it's going to be Bot Rick's Official. That's the one I didn't want to win there. I don't think that's a real thing. So let's draw it again. Let's make sure it's a real. If your name is Bot, I might change my name to Bot. I had a roommate. His name, last name was Bot. Stop Geo. He's got it in there. Stop Geo. Thank you for all your support, Stop Geo. That's going to do it here on the Morning Steam. All right. Make sure you tune in 1 hour from now for our show with Mikey Money, Sharky Waters previewing the baseball, and we've got great horse racing action today. I think I'm supposed to get on it here and turn in my video here for the day at Del Mar today. Opening day at Del Mar, man, I miss those days. Boy, what a track here today. Great racing, though, today. Racing with Razor. You got some Saratoga action going on. Of course, Del Mar will be the featured here on the West Coast. When you got the Spa and you got Del Mar, you know you're going here in the middle of summer. So great racing action today, and I'll try to do a video here of the featured race. That's what I'm going to try to do here on the Sports Money Network channel. That's going to do it for me and for the Sports Money Network. I'm Ramon Scott. So long from Las Vegas.
I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket.